A friend of mine asked me to do some work on his Sanger DXII Black Scorpion towboat. I told him he might be coming to the wrong guy, but if you like, I'll do what I can. So we devised a plan. We modified it slightly. Some people might dig it, some people might not. It's it's open for debate, but I'll show you what we did. Came out real nice, and it came out real nice. All right, let's take a look at a few pictures here then. So what was happening here is a bad floor repair. Sanger boats usually have a cutout right there in white. It's part of the floor pan and stuff. No one knows why. It's a pain in the ass. Get rid of it. So the floor needed to be repaired. So I made these right here. Made a couple of these so I could install them and add more floor without having to do the whole floor. Came out pretty good, but it is a modification, no doubt about it. You can't buy these parts. I had to make them. Okay, so the people who use this boat, they're big people. They're bigger than me. They want a strong floor. We plan on fiberglassing the whole floor. So there it is with the rail installed on the stringers. Gives me that extra footing to add the board. I put end caps on it, in and out. And then here I made the new flooring. I fiberglassed all edges, top, bottom, corners, everything. So everything has a layer of, that's marine grade wood, but it's also all encased in fiberglass. We let it cure and dry and heal and made it all good and proper. And then got it installed. And so we sealed the edges of everything right there with the fiberglass. Was using white toner in the glass to see what I could do. And then and then we just glassed the whole side. Well, we sealed it again. Put some takes layers. Put a couple of layers on it. Got it right. There's my Z28 badge. Had to sign it. So there it is done, more or less. It gets work done, and it's completed. Got the completed base all there, and then one more coat. And what's that? Oh, level 2. What? We need to delete that. Take that out of there. Okay, and then did some more work. The whole thing took 3 months to do all this because whatever. And there you go. That looks pretty good right there. And then show you some more on the other side. So here you see the how well we had the boat covered up. Everything on the boat was covered up and stuff. It took a lot of work a lot of mess making and stuff. Kept all the dust out. There's the board. We had to remove that board. That was somebody else's patch repair and stuff. No bueno. We had to take that out. And I had more troubles on this side than I did the other side. The railing wasn't as square. Things weren't as straight. I had issues with things not being straight and plumb and square. I had to square a bunch of dumb stuff up. Filled a bunch of holes. Glued a bunch of stuff together. I mean, it all came out great, but that's what I had to do. I had to build me a little platform to get rid of that crooked edge. Well, I got rid of the crooked edge and stuff. I didn't split the stringers. You see, that's the deal. We added, per se, a hanger on the stringer because the floor, just because. That's the way it went. And then I followed clues from my Roman buddies and put wedges in there and stuff, and I glued me a shim on there to make that plumb and square and straight so I could add our aluminum stringer runner thing. And so there's some progress there. There it is there again, some more progress. straightening that out. That it was just the fiberglass and everything they had on it. I didn't want to grind it all down to nothing, so instead I just added on to it and made it squarer, straighter, made it better. Then I put that guy up in there and stuff, and they're screwed in really, really well. There's I didn't get into the details of sharing all that with you, but they're screwed in very well. A whole multitude of stuff it took to make that happen, and then of course I signed that board because that's what I do. I tag everything. So here's the extent I went through to get the screws straight. For this is to mount the boards to the aluminum and the boat. Labeled the holes, who was what. Some went into the aluminum, some went into wood backed by the aluminum, some went into just wood. So there was a thing, and I did all that. Once we got that mounted, though, had to address other situations. Had to make sure this panel fit right here, and plus there was a problem. It supports on the two sides, and it didn't have front and rear support. So I added a front and rear support to it. Made it even stronger because, like I say, everybody's kind of heavy. The centerpiece in there that holds that tube there, that had to get all jacked around, redone. I made this piece here to weld onto that centerpiece so the board would actually have something to lay on. And then put it in the right spot. That was a trick. And then welded it on. So everything became much more user-friendly at that point. Can take some weight there. It's kind of a weak link. The board in the center there that pipe is hooked up to, that all got refixed as well, reglassed and whatnot, and then made sure the darn thing fit. And had to keep working on that. And then here's the backboard, the back cover board. Had to add those two supports. Made it much stronger. Worked out. Because once the chair's in and everything, that's a major standing point. Everybody likes to dance right there. So we added some supports underneath it. So all these panels got glassed underneath and edges, and everything got fitted. Made sure everything fit and worked before we went ahead and glassed the final port side. And once that was all taken care of, then we were ready to move on and start getting her done. And so at that point, we got some glass on it right there. And it's like it takes 2 or 3 layers before we're actually done with everything. And there it is, looking real sweet. Like that. And now it's kind of time to move on to the front. Now we got to do the front part right there. And so that took a bunch of sanding, prep work, a whole lot of prep work before we got ready. Finally, we were ready. And we started doing stuff to it. And it came out pretty good. I let everything cure. We covered stuff so we didn't keep walking on it, making dirt, all that sort of bit. Kept it clean until it was time to put the floor in it. And of course, that happened at nighttime, like this. Right here at night, we started putting the floor in on that particular day. It was a couple of years ago. It was summertime. He was late. He had big plans. We were going to run late. And so the whole thing turned into a big rush, you might say. And so we worked that night on it. And we got a lot done. He actually did wind up with the opportunity to take it to their desired destination, but he chose not to after it was all done. Rushed me around and then said no. Well, there you go. No big deal. The flooring's pretty cool. Nice rubbery, soft stuff. Everybody likes it. Worked out well. Glued it down. No screws. It's all glued down to the glass there. And gives a real nice look to the boat. Boat looks good. The new interior looks real good. Everything looked real good. Still gonna have to do the dashboard though. Still got some wiring and stuff to go on. Interior to go in. And I guess we'll get to that in just a second then. As we were putting it together, we just kept putting it together. The dashboard though is kind of a big deal. A lot of goofy stuff happened there. Okay, so this dashboard is a picture I took off the internet. It's not factory because it had the stitches in it. This is the fairing right here that was all broken and whatnot. Has no padding on it. Couldn't save the padding, but was able to save the fairing by adding where fiberglass had been broken away. Had to scar it up and stuff so stuff would stick. Had to clean it and scar it, and started out with some small patches here and there. Started getting some shapes back. Had one big old corner I had to completely remake and stuff. And it's sitting there. I put some weights on some of the stuff as I'm trying to get everything to adhere and stay attached. And it looked like hell when I started and stuff, but it turned out A-OK. It was 11th hour. There's the video. Not much of a video, but I'm just narrating as I'm watching it, as you're watching it. And I was able to put corners back in it and stuff and put it back together and kind of made it work. I think we're going to take it apart again maybe this year and figure out how to pad the fairing once it's all done. And but yeah, it was pretty badly beaten up. They get that way, Can't seem to buy them. Nobody seems to have any for sale. So we did what we did. There's another video. Got wood and weights and stuff holding down wax paper right there because that's all fresh resin getting pressed into place. Yeah, that's the way that went. And it did come out pretty good. I don't know if I've got the pictures in here where I added the whole corner onto it. It's there's corners missing right there. Got to add that corner. That's not the way I was talking about with corners. So there's a big old piece in the front that I eventually had to just fabricate out of nothing because it didn't exist anymore. And if I had a little more time, I probably could have done more. But like I say, he was rushing me to because he had a place to go. And so we did 11th hour on that after exhausting all of our attempts to acquire another one and stuff like that. This is all we had left. So there's the old corner that's broken off on the bottom there. Can't see it now. It's out of the frame. I didn't know this video was so long. But, yep, kind of didn't expect that. Didn't know I had this video. Looks like a big waste of time, but thanks for watching. And this is the instrument cluster fairing for the dashboard. There's a piece of wood that goes behind it also for the radio and stuff. There were some things to figure out. Not counting the wiring or anything like that. It's just a whole bunch of other things to figure out. Steering column had to come all apart just in order to get that piece off and stuff like that. And not that any of that's treacherous or tricky or anything. It's all pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But anything that's easy is easy to mess up. So, oops, there we go. Okay, we got out of that video. Thank God. Back to pictures. They all there you go. Putting a corner back in there. Made it bigger than it needed to be so I could trim it to size later. You have to start somehow. So that's a start, and then let that cure, and then more resin. That corner, all the corners that hold the gauge pack in were busted out. Not sure what I'm looking at there. And so neither are you. Yeah, some of this stuff's pretty messed up. Um, it was cool though. That's putting the corner back in where there was no corner. Corner was broken out. There's the other corner. There's 4 corners. I had to put all 4 corners back in and stuff. And you can't just do it all at once. You have to do a little tack here and a little tack there, and then blah blah blah. And if you make everything too fat, then nothing fits again. That's always a problem. Um, yeah, it gets difficult to understand what we're seeing, but there the whole bottom has now been encased. Um, Trying to stiffen it up, making it stronger. That's not the cowl. That's the dashboard without the cowl and the wooden piece for the radio. Now there's the dashboard with everything installed, the cowl and everything, and the front piece there. That's not wood. That's the metal piece that goes there. Behind that is the cowl, and then behind that is the piece of wood that holds the radio. So here's a collage of how to reassemble the steering column is what that was all about. I knew it'd be a little difficult for me, so I made myself notes, and this is how I kind of did it. Put it in 6 easy steps, 6 easy pictures, put it back together. Here's the underneath inside the dash. You're looking at the back of the gauges and all that stuff, just in case. Now here, this one's interesting. In the lower right-hand corner where the radio goes, all that piece, I had to make all that. That was all busted out. It didn't exist. I had to make all that, then I had to cut it back out. It was kind of silly, but that's what it took to make that whole new corner again. And still not right, but it's close. There it is. So I painted the piece of wood black. So that's the dashboard with the wood black, and then it would take the fairing, and then it would take the other stuff. Here's more information about the wiring in case I was going to have any problems putting it back together. I just made notes of everything that was, so I wouldn't get too lost. And then we wound up with this, a boat all together, looking good, looking fine. You know, he's taken it out many times since. We did this a couple of years ago. We did this project. I just now made this collection of pictures and video to do this. But there it is, Sanger Black Scorpion DX2. Cool.